Hey guys, Still here and welcome back to Admiral Dreadnoughts, where today we're fighting destroyers. In the previous video, it was a couple of torpedo boats going up against a couple of battleships with me controlling the torpedo boats. Now it's going to be the reverse, modern battleship versus destroyers. The objective is to defend against a dangerous flotilla of destroyers. A number of very fast and deadly destroyers. Well, I wonder what the AI comes up with. For all I know, they might be making destroyers which do 34 knots. Anyway, they threaten your battleship. Usually battleships are not intended to fight destroyers or without escorting ships, but now you must design your battleship in a way that not only it can survive the battle, but it can also sink every single destroyer within the given time limit. You might have to approach in dangerous distance from the destroyers in order to succeed. So it's a bit of a weird mission for a battleship, and that what makes it very interesting. You have 3 different bonuses: secondary guns, main guns, or balanced guns. These, of course, give you, well, overall bonuses to, let's say, secondary armament. I don't really see why I would want big guns on this ship. There can be an argument which says, well, you might want to go for the big guns because you only have to get lucky once. One big hit from an 18-inch gun on a destroyer and there is no more destroyer, which is a fair point. And then balanced gun tax gives a little bit of a bonus to both big guns and small guns. However, I'm going to go for a secondary gun setup. And this time around with this video, I'm actually going to design process, which well, for the last couple of videos have been skipping. I'm going to build one battleship. I have 150 million to work with. Let's make it relatively fast. Range is not important. Bulkheads to maximum. Engines. Well, if my engines go quiet, so if my engines get destroyed or damaged, I will need to get them back up to speed quickly. So let's make sure that the engine damage chance is lowest, and I think that the gear turbines 2 are the most ideal for that setup. Boilers, oil boilers, and force boilers, and auxiliary 3. Water pumping, ship repairs, ship engine repairs, very important for a battleship like this. Now we also have the advanced propeller shaft, which is going to give me more acceleration, turning rate, and again ship repairs. So yes, please. Armor, well, Crab 5, or Crab 4 rather. Barbettes, I'm not too worried about. I don't think an ammo detonation is going to be terribly likely. It's not impossible, not by any stretch, but it is not as likely to detonate from a torpedo. Anti-torpedo protection, however, well, it's tricky. Because on the one hand, I'm thinking I'm building a ship specifically to take on an enemy warship or an enemy fleet of destroyers. So in that case, you would likely not really have a ship that's designed as an overall battleship. But a part of me says, no, you might want to just do anti-torpedo protection 3, because a ship, a standard battleship that's not specifically designed to rely on its own protection against torpedoes and would normally be using an escort or several escorts, why would it have anti-torpedo protection 5? It probably wouldn't, or at least I don't really see the exact reason why it would. So I'm going to go with anti-torpedo 3, single bottom triple, reinforced bulkheads, anti-flooding. This could be important. I think a normal battleship would have the best anti-flooding to make sure that any hit, even if it's a standard shell hit, not a torpedo hit, that hits below the waterline, is going to get countered out pretty quickly. So flooding from ship repair, that is a nice bonus. And then again, water pumping is as well. And then Citadel, a turtleback armor scheme. Now, before I touch all of this, I'm first going to jump down to the next level. Gun long range accuracy or gun aiming speed? If the DDs don't get close at all, that would be ideal. In that case, the stereoscopic rangefinder might be handy. If the DDs do get close and I kill one and then have to switch to another, the coincidence rangefinder would be nice. This works with a 10% bonus on everything. This works with bonus on long range accuracy only. I think this one is slightly more beneficial in this case. Radio, well, it's just one single battleship operating alone. I don't think I'm going to need much for that. And then radar, let's go for a Gen 2. As for displacement, I haven't touched this yet. You can go up to 96,000 tons. Or if you go for a US battleship, a displacement of 86,000. If you go for the Germans, 82.5. I think that 96,000 tons is a bit excessive. It also makes the ship really large. And with that, your ability to dodge torpedoes is, well, basically right out the window. Now I'm trying to get this at 80,000 exact. There we go. Towers then. The Super Pagoda Tower is very small. It does offer a couple of positions for secondary guns, but not a whole lot. I think the modern tower would be more beneficial for this particular build of ship. And with this ship, you can actually put those very far on the back. Now, what I want to do is put them very far on the front. So I still have room for 1, maybe 2 turrets on the bow. But my intent is to be kiting away as much as possible. Head away from the enemy ships. Give them a smaller profile to shoot at with their torpedoes, because that's by far going to be the greatest risk. And then hopefully maintain my distance enough so that torpedoes either can be avoided or don't become a threat at all. I cannot fit the super large funnel, but I can fit the super medium funnel. 4 weight offset's already a thing. Okay. What do we have? What I can do for this particular ship is have centerline, 18-inch guns, 1 on the bow, 1 on the stern, and then I can have the barbettes for the secondaries. You can have these in standard format or tall format, which does elevate them quite a bit. Unfortunately, from what I've been able to tell, you can only have 1. It's a bit of a weird setup, because if I don't have a gun here, then sure enough you can add them, but some ships don't allow you to add one of those unless you have a gun installed, or a standard barbette. So it's a bit of an unusual setup there. Anyway, 18-inch triple. This is going to be my big, well, pretty much off chance, maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't, gun. And we'll just see if it actually gets something done. Let's bring that a little closer so that it more or less joins with the superstructure. And I can bring this gun slightly farther back. Alright, so now I have a couple of 18-inch guns. And then a couple of, well, actually a lot of slots for secondaries. These are the Mark 5s. Yeah, everything's Mark 5. Everything got the bonus from that additional tech. So I think an 8-inch triple over here has a range of 17.3. Actually, could I put those on the sides? If I wanted to. Yes. Now this is some part where I still don't like the game. Because I want to have these guns in a forward/aft rotation, but you have to do that manually. And I think that the game should just be able to do that automatically. Anyway, that's just my small gripe with the game. I have to do it for this one as well. These have combined a good rate of fire and a good angle. So they can probably get quite a bit done. I could go for the same thing on the bow. But I think their accuracy might be a little cluster. So for a position slightly more forward, I'm going to go with a couple of 6-inch. I'll just deploy them first and then actually get those things sorted out here. One there and one rotate there. And then over here on the elevated platform, I'm going to go for another 8-inch triple. Now I still have a lot of weight left, a decent amount of cost. And a lot of room for secondaries. So let's fill those in. In this case, it doesn't really matter if I'm going to go for dual barrel or triple barrel. Triple usually have a slight aim penalty, but you could argue that that gets made up for by the simple volume of fire. In this case, let's go for 5-inch triples. I can put a lot of those things on here. Oh, did I forget that one? I'm sorry. 8-inch triple. I'm going with as many of these 8-inch triples as possible, so all the ammo is distributed and available for all the guns. If I were going for a double barrel 8-inch, that would mean that it counts as a separate slot, which means that I don't get access to all the armaments. And this is what kind of got me in a lot of trouble in the previous mission. Now, apparently I cannot fit 4-inch guns over here in these smaller slots, so that's probably 3. Yes, there we go. 3-inch armament, in case the DDs do get very close. Now, if they do get at this range, I'm going to be in quite a lot of trouble already, because they open up at 7.7. But at 7.7 or 7.5, they do have a decent amount of accuracy, and they fire every 6 seconds. So that should put out a lot of volume of fire, hopefully enough to sink the DDs. Now, as for the ammo type, or rather the propulsion first, propellant, I think a high TNT is the best of both worlds. It's more shell damage, it's more HE damage and HE fire chance, and especially with 6-inch, 5-inch, and 8-inch, let alone the 18-inch, I think it would be a bit overkill to use Lyddite, so high TNT is probably better in this case. And besides, I have the money for it, I have the displacement, let's do it. Shells? Tricky. These make the shells a little lighter, so they reload faster. But I think a normal battleship that's not really designed to go up against a fleet of destroyers, as this ship is, at least in my mind it is, I probably wouldn't use light shells. I would use standards or heavies. So let's go with heavies instead. And then, well, I don't need to do too much with the torpedoes, but I do want autoloaders and electro-hydraulic turrets to get those things on target quickly. Armor, I don't care too much about. Sure enough, they might put me on fire, but aside from that, they don't really do that much. So I don't really think I need to touch this too much, unless, again, you want to go for that slightly more believable story of this is a battleship that's not specifically designed to take on smaller warships and might also face cruisers or the occasional battleship. In that case, I think a bigger extended belt armor would be better. Maybe a bit more deck armor, a bit more deck extended. And I am looking at the cost that I have. And also the displacement. I don't like this. I have too much displacement for what I'm trying to put on the ship. So let's bring that down. Now it starts to shrink too much. This is what happens when you hot wash a battleship. Everything starts to shift. And there you go. Now the two superstructures are too close together. And the guns really don't appreciate this at all. I have to bring this gun back. I have to try and get this... Oh, that doesn't want to go. Okay. That's interesting. Can I move that turret anywhere? Yeah, slightly. Ever so slightly. Then I might, if I get lucky, be able to move that a little bit. Doesn't need to be a lot, just a... Oh. Normally, when you click left on the main island, it's going to transfer all the things with you. Not this time around. Modern island. At least they're not clashing anymore, although these guns do look a little out of place. I cannot shift that thing back, so I need to shift this thing forward if I still want to use those positions. But then I have no more room for a bow turret. No, I'm going to go back to the previous configuration. Just notice how much extra deck space you get. Going from 75 to 76 tons. That's a lot of weight that gets added. Impressive. Alright, barbettes. Let's get that tall secondary barbette back up. Centerline 18-inch guns. That was a triple. We had a secondary 8-inch over there. And then all the secondary 3 inches were on the island. On the main tower, rather. There. I still need to add the funnel. That was a medium. 71,000 tons out of 76 used and 7,000 more available. Do I want to add more guns? Could I add more guns if I wanted to? Not on the stern. They're going to start interacting, or rather clashing, with these 8-inch guns. Unfortunately. Maybe here? Yes. Over here I can add another one. And I also want you to be in a forward configuration. Well, I guess I'll spend the rest on maybe additional protection. I need torpedo bulge 4. Crop's alright. Maybe barbette 4. That's actually not that expensive, is it? It's not too expensive either in weight or in cost. It just changes a very little bit. Which is weird. Because you're getting quite a buff. It makes the guns and secondaries and casemates heavier. And it adds weight to the barbettes. Why is it such a cheap upgrade relative? Look at the look at the weight. 74,325 tons. Sorry, 74,325 tons. Versus 74,600 tons. So it just adds 400 tons. With all of these guns. Although, well, it is secondary, but I guess they don't weigh a lot. These things. They weigh 71 tons. These are by far the heaviest at 3,700s. And they don't even have a barbette. Do I need one? Or is it just going to get in the way? No, screw it. I'm not using it. It's probably just going to get in the way. I could use a radio. Let's say a normal battleship would probably carry a radio. So, okay. Advanced radio is expensive. That's 3 million right there. So now, let's see if I can still mess around with the armor a little bit. 6.5-inch secondaries. Maybe a bit more on the turret top. No, that's too much. Okay, 5.5-inch. Right. Battleship's called the Gaulois. It's a French ship. Let's see how well she does against all the enemy destroyers. Now, the destroyers were in 3 different classes. 4 different ships each. So we could be seeing quite a few different configurations of ships. For now... Gee, I only have 90 minutes to do this, huh? That is not a lot of time at all. I want HE only, because I'll probably do so much damage with my HE shells that I don't really need to penetrate. Alright, what are you? That's triple... Yeah, 3 quintuples, I think. No, 2 quintuples and a quadruple. So that's 14 tubes for this one destroyer. Holy shit, I'm going to be dancing on torpedoes all day. This one doesn't have too much. That's 3 and a 5. And the rest is guns. So this whole class, well, I shouldn't really just ignore them upright. But overall, it's not that bad. I seem to already have inflicted quite a bit of damage. That was a 6-inch, an 8-inch, and another 8-inch. And 1 destroyer... Holy shit. Sorry. 1 destroyer is already dead. That's 1. 11 more to go. How about you? You only have 1 quintuple launcher and the rest is your gunboat? So there's almost 2 ship classes that I can pretty much outright ignore? Are you kidding? These are the dangerous... No, not these are the dangerous ones. The ones with 14 tubes. The 5 to 5 and the 4. Not you. Not you. How many did they build? Not enough, I think. The hell? Where are you? Oh, this one already took a hit. I think you can really go every which way with this build. I think you could have destroyers which AI generates, which really, really do well, which are exceptionally dangerous. And then you can have almost complete pushovers, like these destroyer gunboats that they have. And I know that they're not exactly gunboats, but that's at least what we call them in World of Warships. And yes, I know that will draw some flack in the comment section, but it's the easiest way to describe them. They're built around guns. So it only makes sense to be calling these gunboats. Now these DDs are coming at me. And as I am currently sailing towards a smokescreen, I'm not in the best position for this ship to be in. My accuracy is not going to be great. I'm probably better off just falling back to full speed. Getting a bit of an accuracy buff on my secondaries and letting them just work. Letting them do their job. Slowing down, wiping out enemy warships. Identification is 64, 55, 58, 63. Keep turning. Let the secondaries do their job. And avoid getting any chance for the enemy destroyers to send out torpedoes like this guy is probably planning on. What does he have? Is that 1, 2, 3, 4? Is that 5 5-inch turrets? Dual barrel? That's quite a bit of firepower for a destroyer. Gunboat, that is. Which, against my battleship, is really a poor pick. You're just never going to get away with it. He's currently working over that one, because it's not in smoke, I think. Do we have an identification on any of these classes yet? Almost. 87. Here we go. This is the Wild Fang. Speed 47.5 knots. The AI really loves their fast ships. They fire 22-inch torpedoes. Torpedo visibility minus 70%. I don't like that. I'll see these things when they're right on top of my ship. How many of those things do you have? Unknown? Okay. Now, you guys are out of smoke. That means you're going to have a bit of a problem on your hands. Because now there is no hiding, there you go, from the secondaries. That one should flood. This is what I wanted. Just temporarily slow down, let the DDs catch up, and let the secondaries finish them off. Now this one I can ignore. Let's go for the Wild Fang. He's actually flooding. He might get sunk because of that. Wow, that's original. Wild Fang D1. That's another one of those 22-inch boats. We got the Hussar D2. Oh, and the Wild Fang D2. Jesus, you guys are creative. I need you to start turning around because this one... No, the D2 has just sunk. There goes the Wild Fang. Bloody hell. Unless these guys really start landing some torpedoes, I don't think they have much of a chance. Well, with one exception. They could run. Oh dear. Yeah, that one's gonna hit. Could have been worse. Here comes the next salvo. Right here. Alright, so I ate one torpedo for 125 damage. Structural integrity down to 90%. Floating, 97. The one thing that these guys could do and make my life very difficult with is run away. Which supposedly has been turned off. But my biggest issue is with the sense of supposedly. Because I have seen these things run off before. When the game says the enemy will never retreat. Which turned out to be a gross misrepresentation of the facts. The enemy did run away. And quite a bit at that. Alright, time to speed up again. Throw off their aim as much as I can. There's another couple of torps. Can I still dodge? If I... No, that one's... Yeah, I'm going to take that one right on the nose. Structural integrity is going to take another hit. Yeah, we're down to 79%. There's another DD sunk. This one probably has already sent out torpedoes, so he's not the biggest threat. How about the others? How about you? You already torped as well. Alright, back to port. This one just took a big hit. The, what are you called? Shikos D3. Oof. Few hits, that's all you need. Next target is the Shikos. Already set on fire? Oh, you just sent out torpedoes. Officially, you shouldn't or you shouldn't really be knowing this, of course. Give me that rudder all the way to starboard. These guys are dying very quickly. How am I supposed to get the AI to win this scenario? Oh, shit. Ah! No way to dodge that. Ow. That's another one. That's the Shikos. Jeez, you hit that for what? Holy crap, look at this. 18-inch hits the destroyer, overpen, for 45,563 damage. What? That's not even the amount of damage that these things can do. They can do 34,952. But I guess if you fire HE, you do significantly more damage if you pen. And it wasn't even a pen, it was an overpen. The hell? Yeah, active, HE. Increases damage, increased fire chance, minimum armor penetration. That's probably why I did that much damage. Now, I have lost both engines. I only have one engine left, which could very well spell disaster for this ship. Because if I cannot dodge torpedoes, I'm going to get ripped apart slowly, and they wouldn't even need many destroyers to do that with. There goes the Chicos D2. Finish off the Wildfang, please. Wildfang has loaded torpedoes and is ready to go. Wildfang D2, similar. This thing, however, seems to have no smoke available, or it would be popping it. Because they always do that immediately. Now, this is what the scene looks like from the perspective of the Wildfang. Well, one of the Wildfangs, rather. They seem to have no shortage of these things. But this one just needs one or two good hits and will sink. Uh-oh. Torpedoes. Where? There goes Wildfang D1. That one next, because I'm sailing away from it. D3 has not sent torpedoes. This one has. The Hussar. Turn left. Rudder port as much as you can. Slow down to slow. Range 4 kilometers out. By my count, they still have 4 DDs. 1, 2, oh, that one's sinking. 3, 4. Torpedoes in the water. That came as a gift, potentially from the Hussar D3. But there's only 3 of them. Oh, this is interesting. Is this one going to hit one of their own ships? Oh, that one narrowly sailed over the deck of the Wildfang D2. That was a blast from the 18-inch guns on the stern. These guys are very close, 4.3. It's quite uncomfortable trying to dodge these torpedoes at 4.3 kilometers. Fortunately, I have not taken on a lot of water, but my engines have been severely damaged. So all of that damage protection / damage reduction that I had on apparently didn't do that much. Wildfang D2 once again took a big blast. 8-inch, hit for 600. There is some fire on the ship, but it's not a lot. And it does have a lot of bulkheads, so that probably won't sink it. Alright, let's try to throw them off again. Let's get the secondaries on that target. There goes the D2. Oh, that's the one on my stern. Nice. So it just leaves these two guys then. But once again, I think I got really lucky with the type of ships that the AI was building. If the AI builds 4 ships per class, which all have a lot of torpedo tubes, then, well, good luck. Because it's going to get really unpleasant really quick. There's no way you can dodge everything. Even if you're kiting away, you're going to take damage. And they just built a whole bunch of gunships. They did not build for torpedoes on these ships, and that is what's going to cost them. I might even sink this thing before those torpedoes get here. There goes the DD. Yeah, that's the D3, and that's the end of the mission. That one might... Yeah, it did hit. So, that actually went a hell of a lot faster than I had expected. Mission complete. Now, what I am curious about is what happens if I go into battle again with the same ship. Do I get the same kind of results? Can I do this again? There's a saying, once you're lucky, twice you're good. Does that go for this ship too? Let's check. 12 destroyers. What do you have for me today? That's 3 quintuples, so that's 3 5s. Probably on all of these things. No, this is a completely different design. Okay. That's a 5 and a 5. We have over here 5, 5, 5, so that's 15 torpedo tubes. Next, that's one of those 10s. That's a 15. See, this is significantly more torpedoes to dodge. That's another 15 boats. What you got there? Is that a 7? Yeah, that's a 7. That's mostly a gunboat. Okay. Alright, same plan applies. Slow down to full speed. Let the secondaries work away for a bit. Then potentially speed up and start making a turn to make sure that any torpedoes which might have been thrown into the water just immediately, well, not lose track, because they don't track me anyway, but lose a lot of chance to actually hit me. Well, let's speed up this battle a bit, because I want to see if I can get this thing done twice. If I can do it twice, then either the AI is messing up twice, or I get lucky twice, or just that the ship works. Whichever option you want to pick. Now, if you build the ship out quite different, not with the 18 inches, I imagine you could get even more done. You could sink them even faster. This one's not looking too much forward to being on the front line again. Good damage here to the funnel. Definitely coming my way in a hurry. Range 6.4. And just look at how this thing is throwing out as many shells as it possibly can. Blast from the 18 inch. All of the guns are firing on the starboard side. The only ones which are not actively engaged are these. This one might be too close to the ship to be able to turn. It cannot turn out. And same potentially for this 8 inch. Because it sure as hell is not damaged. So, the ship isn't even doing as much as it possibly could. It could throw out even more fire. If I'd built it better. Let's see, are you still the weak one? Or is that another? No, that's that one. Alright, switch fire. He's no longer really a threat, and he might sink altogether just by the sheer amount of damage over time that's still going on with the Tillman. Flooding and fire. Bulkheads few. Armor almost non-existent. Top speed of 40 knots. Displacement 2,000 tons with 23-inch torpedo tubes, which have a lot more visibility. At a range of 8.1. Speaking of, here come the torpedoes now. That does not look good for the Gaulois. I'm hoping I can avoid this bit, but that means I might still eat 4. Get that rudder as much as possible to the port side. Ow, ow, ow. Hold on. I only got hit twice. 1, 2. You know what? I think some of them might have run out. Some of those torpedoes might have just run through their fuel by the time that they were on course to actually collide with the Gaulois. So that was exceptionally lucky. Well, it did do some damage. I've taken light flooding, and the rudder is damaged. Which means that... Can I still turn at all? No, I cannot turn at all. Oh, that's going to make this fight a hell of a lot more difficult. Nice. a challenge. Slow down to about 20 knots if you can. See if you can sink the George K. Mackenzie. Thank you very kindly. There's another torpedo. Set, rather. That's 3 torpedoes. But with the turn, I should be fine. Come on, get that rudder fixed. Because unlike, I think, Bismarck, who could alternate her props. So have one propeller turn prograde, or, well, turn normally, and the other one turn in reverse. Spin in reverse. It could turn. I cannot do the same thing with the Gaulois. I cannot have one of these props turn normal and the other one in reverse. To try and still have some semblance of steering. Okay, so the Gaulois can now turn either very sharply to port or not so sharply, but turning starboard is something that she will just not do. There might be more blood in the water if the Mansfield goes down. Yes. Flooding. Sinking. Well done. Now, a ship that already has a standard little bit of an offset on the rudder, I think that might be very hard to aim at if you have torpedoes. So, alright, I'll just keep giving, what, 10 degrees left rudder. See, this group normally potentially would have hit me. And now they just sailed past harmlessly. It's funny how that works. Alright, Anderson. Mr. Anderson. You're up. And you're being subjected to a nice, festive assortment of shells. What are you armed with? 24-inch torpedoes, but these things are almost invisible. Minus 65% visibility. Speed is pretty good at 37.5. And they have a range of 13.2, so it's not that likely that I'll run those as well. Moody is still in a smokescreen. Chaffee, however, is not in a smokescreen. Target Chaffee. Can I at all expect that rudder to get fixed, engineer? Or is that just something that's never going to happen until we hit a port? Oh, there goes the Anderson. There's Chaffee. Chaffee is packing 23-inch torpedoes with a speed of 49 knots. Visibility minus 35. So they do have quite a few different torpedoes. I just hope that the Chaffee doesn't run out of range too much. 7 kilometers out currently, so it's currently in range of 8, 6, 5 and 3-inch guns. But it's not an easy target to hit. Can we get that rudder to the other side? No. It's just stuck. Damn. Alright, Moody's out of her smokescreen. Switch target, Moody. We'll come back and deal with the Chaffee later. I mean, we rather have no choice. I'm going to turn left anyway. Good damage. Moody is taking a severe beating. Flooding, engine damage, fire. Maximum bulkheads, so it might outlast some of its sister ships, or, well, some of its sisters, not necessarily sister ships, which do not have a lot of bulkheads, like over here, the Morrison. Moody is dead. Alright, next ship, Clarence K. Bronson, which, you can bet your ass, is about to launch torpedoes. There they come. Speed up again. I'm not sure if the ship is particularly quick about speeding up. But I'll take all the diversion I can... Ooh, all the diversion I can get. While I still make that port turn. This whole rudder jam to port might actually still be a good thing. Because it's throwing off a lot of aim on these destroyers. See, if I had just kept going, these would have hit... And there goes the Eversole. Jeez, this is a butchery. There's another one up front. Oh, that's the Tillman. You're a very brave captain for coming back into this fight. But a very dead one as well. Next up, another DD. The Chaffee again. Really? You already made it all the way back there? So he had his whole formation turn around, I think. Oh. I just hit another torp. 2, actually. One for 161 and one for 193. Structural integrity, 65%. Floatability, 91%. And engine has taken some damage. Overall, the fire and the flooding are really not that much of a concern. I have every faith in my damage control parties. Good hit. Really good hit. The Morrison just got hit for 571. Engines damaged. The whole ship's ablaze. The entire aft ship. But they're fighting it. Look at that. Floatability is going up again. More fire set. How quickly can you deal with the whole ship being on fire? Can you? Shit, torpedoes launched. There you go, well done. Gulwa. Let's switch from minor support to full support. There goes the hoodie. Oh, sorry, the hobby. Not the hoodie. My bad. This is a pretty bad hobby to have. Short-lived. Chaffee. Reacquire the Chaffee and see if you can eliminate it. Because right now it does not have a lot of speed left. And not a lot of health either. Is that the last of the formation? No. Still, well, it was the lead ship. Book. Top speed, 39.5. Oh, no. Oh, that is going to be a problem. These won't. But I'll definitely eat another 4. Ow. 680 damage. Oh, there's the Holworth. Right. At least it doesn't have a terrible assortment of torpedoes. How many do you carry? Just the one launcher? No, 2 of them. 10. It's one of the 10s. I am flooding. Get that under control. Ooh, narrowly missed an 18-inch shell there. The ship is listing over the starboard. She has definitely taken on a lot of water there. I hope that I can control the flooding and start pumping out the water and right the ship again. Because I have a lot of damage instability at this point. Oh, it will fit here. 1, 2. Perfect. Let's try to more or less make a smaller turn. Oh, that's... Is that gonna dodge? That's gonna dodge. Cue the Torpedobeats. For those of you unfamiliar with the term, Torpedobeats were introduced by Euro, who's a content creator for World of Warships. He made a bunch of videos where, and I'm not even sure where he, or how he thought it up. He made videos where ships narrowly dodged 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 torpedoes, however many it was. And where you're constantly in the edge of your seat going, it's gonna hit, it's gonna hit, it's gonna hit, it's not gonna hit. No, it's not gonna hit. And he just managed to duck and weave his ships between the torpedoes. And he made compilations of that, which was really quite interesting. They're good fun to watch. And ever since then, the other community contributors, at least, also picked up the term Torpedobeats. So hence the title of the video. Now the Holworth, last man standing. Not for much longer though, because it has absolutely nothing on me. Even if it lands a full spread of torpedoes, I don't think she'll be able to sink the Gulwa. Did the Gulwa come out unscathed? No. 59% structural, 58% floatability. But I can live with that. Mission completed. Twice with the same ship. So this design works. The only thing that I still need to change about it is the way that I have the 8-inch and the 6-inch setup. Because one of these things just refused to move. So in that case, if you're building something like this, I would recommend that you give some of these turrets a bit more room. So they actually have the ability to move around. Well, I mean, not sideways, but that they have the ability to actually do their job. Which, in this configuration, they probably will. Anyway, that's all for the vid. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe. And I shall see you then very soon for the next Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts.